Your voice, your opinion, your community. Fact TV, free speech, protected.
I don't feel like we should make jokes in this opening.
Me either.
This movie is too dark and serious.
I absolutely agree.
So, let's just get to the show.
Well, first, this episode we are discussing a movie that is going to contain discussions on sexual assault, rape, mentally handicapped people, violence, and more than normal, I felt it was necessary to just give people a warning ahead of time. If these are things that'll trigger you, this is definitely not the episode for you.
Or
Go back and watch any of our others, because this was a hard movie to watch, and I don't want to have anyone feel hurt by hearing the discussion.
With that said, all this and more on Gory Storytime.
Warning. Gory Storytime is a horror movie review show by a son and his dad who thought that letting his 5-year-old watch scary movies was acceptable. If you are offended by horror or talk about blood and gore by a child, or if you don't want horror movies from the 60s through today spoiled, then there is a remote stuck in your couch cushion next to potato chip crumbs. Use it. And of course, parental discretion is advised.
Why? You didn't use any.
Shut up and start the show.
Welcome to Gory Storytime. I'm your host, Jason.
I'm his co-host and his father, Craig, and this week we are reviewing a very disturbing movie called I Spit on Your Grave. The premise of this movie, because we like to let you know what that is that there were 4 men who decided, well, 3 men decided that they were going to get the virginity taken of their mentally handicapped friend, and they just, they definitely were not friends with him, but they seemed to be his bullies, actually, that he would do anything to impress, which unfortunately led to his behavior. And they take this woman who is from New York, and this is supposed to be in Connecticut, and she's at a lake. She rented a lake house, and they basically kidnap her and force her to do things against her will repeatedly. And then when they leave her for dead, she heals up some and then goes after them to get her revenge.
Yeah.
The poster here says 5 men. It was not 5 men. A bunch of the trailers say 5 men. It was 4 men. I don't know why they got that wrong, but we also do have a trailer, and we'll show it in a second, but we want to explain why it's such a short one. All the trailers we found when researching were either they showed things that you can't, even on this, we really don't feel right showing, or it gives away all of the
the payoff to watching the horrible first part of this movie. Yes, it gives it away, and I'm.
It says killed her assault,
but to give away the payoff, the reason you're watching this movie isn't for the first half of this movie.
No, it's to see her get her revenge.
It's to see her get her revenge, and to give away every single death scene.
Yeah, so we're not doing that trailer. So that's why this trailer that we're about to play is very short. Why don't we roll that one?
I don't like women giving me orders.
The day has come. The ultimate day of terror.
I can't stand to look at dead people. You get on your stuff.
Day of the woman. A mature subject for mature audiences only.
Oh, and the reason it says Day of the Woman is that is the original title.
Yes,
we're
when
going to
this
get
movie
into
was
that.
made for 78.
When we do the behind-the-scenes stuff, we'll get into that. Before that, though, the reason we do this show is to make piles of money. And how do we do that? By pimping ourselves out to anyone who comes along with money to give us.
Yes.
And we tell you how great their products are. So, this week, Gory Storytime is brought to you by GST Home Defense. We at GST Home Defense will come to your house and make alterations that can, if the need arises, save you from a home invasion or any attack from the inside of the house to the front and backyards. Stairs that at your command will change angle and trip up an intruder. A panic room with walls that are able to protect you from bullets and even fire and explosions. And easy access to weapons to protect yourself with GST Home Defense, because we care about your safety. And by
Special Delivery, the food delivery service that gives jobs to people with special needs. We at Special Delivery understand that there's already many food delivery companies, but our goal is to help a group of people that have a harder time getting well-paying jobs. Just go to our app, put in what restaurant or grocery store you want to get food from, and one of our local employees will get food and bring it to your home, because anyone can deliver food, but we deliver something special.
All right. Now, we're going to get into the part that's really rough because, before we start the behind-the-scenes stuff, is there anything else you want to say about the premise? I mean, I think it's pretty clear what it is.
Yeah. Basically,
Woman
if you've made it
assaulted,
this
gets revenge.
far and can stomach the context and the content, then I would recommend watching the movie.
Yeah.
It's a really hard watch, but
there's a long scene that's really hard.
it is a really
There's a
difficult
long
watch,
few
but the
scenes.
payoff is, as you get to see on the trailer,
She
whether
does
or
get
not
her
they
revenge.
can count, she
Yeah.
gets her revenge.
All right. So now we're going to get into that and the discussion of the toughest stuff. Do you want to go first, or do you want... Oh, sorry. As Jason likes to call it, the meat and beef of the show.
Or as I like to call it, the meat and beef of the show. Yeah, I'll go first.
It's hard to try to say that with any humor because of the content, though, right? Like,
Yeah.
it just doesn't feel right.
Not a
You
humorous
notice
episode.
the commercials weren't that funny? There's a reason for that.
Yeah. All four male actors were asked to appear naked in the film to remove awkwardness or embarrassment about their own nudity and to show solidarity for Camille Keaton, who spends much of the film nude.
The scar on the left side of Jennifer's face is real. It was the result of a car accident that Camille Keaton had when she was younger, or was in when she was younger. In the post-trauma scenes, the makeup artist exaggerated it. In the opening scene, it was hidden under a thin layer of foundation.
Yeah. The film was originally released in '78 with the title Day of the Woman and was poorly received at the box office. In 1980, distributor Jerry Gross renamed it I Spit on Your Grave after a 1959 French drama and re-released it.
The second time it was released, it received more publicity and became a target of Roger Ebert and Gene Siskel's campaign against films that feature women in danger.
The actors performed their own stunts. The production couldn't afford any stunt people.
Friday the 13th Part 2 was filmed in the same location in late 1980.
The film was submitted to the Motion Picture Association of America several times. It was originally rejected due to violence through the MPAA, though the MPAA didn't specify which violent sections should be trimmed. The film finally passed after Mayor Zarchi had removed all references to anal rape.
Yeah. It features the longest rape scene in film history at roughly 25 minutes. Again, a very hard movie to watch.
Yeah.
Like, if you... Like, it's a good movie, but it's not easy.
Yeah. One crew member quit during the filming of the second rape scene. He simply couldn't stomach any more violence. The film's makeup artist quit the film halfway through. She had been gang raped and couldn't bear to relive the horror of her attacks, even though she was aware.
Like, of the premise.
Yeah.
All zoom shots were achieved by placing the camera and camera operator in a shopping cart.
That's cool. Some of the films that influenced Marzarchi were Michael Winner's Death Wish, Ingmar Bergman's The Virgin Spring, and Henry King's The Bravados. I've seen Death Wish. I would recommend that movie as well.
Yes. Also has a scene like that, but more bloody
And then a
revenge.
dude killing more people.
More revenge, yeah. Mir Zarchi wrote the screenplay in 4 months, largely on his commute to work.
Yeah. Camille Keaton is Buster Keaton's great niece.
The film has no soundtrack. Mir Zarchi intended to add music, but couldn't find anything he found suitable. The only music in the film is a church organ and a little bit of a Puccini record, background music in a store, and a few stray riffs from Johnny's harmonica.
Which fits for this movie. Like, there doesn't need to be a soundtrack.
Like, it's intense without... You don't have to go, here's the part that's intense.
Like, you know. You're watching.
Yeah.
British feminist Julie Bindel actively picketed the film when it was first released in the UK. She later recanted that view, stating that she now considered it a feminist film. And she's right.
Yeah, it's definitely a pro-woman film. There's no part of this where you should walk away thinking anything but the woman was 100% in the right for what she did. The model in the iconic poster shot seen from the rear, clutching a knife, is Demi Moore. It was confirmed in her memoir, Inside Out. The producer, Charles Band, bought the video distribution rights in 1981, and when it came time to design the poster for the video, he felt that star Camille Keaton was too thin and not shapely enough for the poster, so he sought a new model. And that...
It's disgusting.
The idea...
That's just awful.
Like,
did he watch the movie that he got the rights to? Because that's not
he
for
was,
a shape... It's not about shapely women.
That's not the point of the movie,
That's not...
No, I get it.
That's
But
so
he was a
gross.
producer of the movie, I think it said. But anyway, go ahead.
The character of Matthew was inspired by a mentally disabled man who worked in Zarchi's building.
Camille Keaton said in 2019 in an interview she had bugged Mir Zarchi for 30 to 35 years, saying, "Why don't you make a sequel to I Spit on Your Grave?" Finally, she gave up because it didn't happen. Then she got a phone call to appear in the 2019 sequel, I Spit on Your Grave, Deja Vu, which we're going to end up seeing because this was so good. I just really hope that it doesn't have... you don't have to show it for 25 minutes to get it.
Right.
Know?
In 2019, special effects,
Or maybe
she'll
it's
get
like
to kill
Death
more
Wish 2,
people.
where it's like she finds out someone else had it happen, and we don't have to see
Boom,
it.
boom, boom.
She goes to help. I don't know.
She's become her own rapist killing superhero.
We're gonna go into that blind, and probably not gonna review it here, just because these are hard episodes.
We'll see.
Yeah, like Last House on the Left was similar.
But it was great.
It was, but
in real life, the house where the rape takes place was owned by Marzarchi's friend Nuri Habib, who was also director of photography on the film. Zarchi had visited his colleague when he was developing the script and was influenced by its location.
The film spawned a remake in 2010, 2 sequels to the remake in 13 and 15, and 1 official sequel with the original star reprising, as we said, called I Spit on Your Grave, Deja Vu. So, those are...
And they were all available to watch in the same spot.
Yeah, just look it up. It's streaming for free on quite a few platforms.
It is.
None of them are paying us, so we're not going to bother with telling you which ones. But there's only so many free ones.
And Rotten Tomatoes is a website for people who are stupid.
Yeah, well, at times. Basically, they take all of the professional critics' scores, positive and negative, and they just tell you the percent that gave it a positive grade. Whether it's thumbs up, thumbs down, 1 to 5, whatever scale each one uses, they figure out, is it more positive, more negative, and they just give you that percentage. And then they have a section for people to vote too. What did the critics?
51%.
51% liked it, which is not enough to be considered
Passive.
fresh. The people had it lower at, what was it, 40, I believe. Right?
Yeah.
Let me just double check. Was it exactly 40? It was exactly 40. The thing is, even though we like to disagree with what they say if we have a different opinion.
And I do.
And we do. But because of the content, we understand. There are going to be people that are going to be triggered by this. There are going to be people that they just don't want to discuss this topic. Unfortunately, not discussing tough topics doesn't change the fact that they happen.
Yeah. Not talking about it doesn't make it go away.
All right. So what was your least favorite scene? Or least favorite thing?
Well, even though I knew it had to happen,
Yeah.
and they say 25 minutes, but it was longer before that because it starts with them pulling her out of the water.
Yeah. They take this woman and all 4 people, like, she gets away, they catch her again, the next person has a turn, she gets away.
The next person does it.
She gets to where she was staying, they were waiting inside for her because they could get there faster.
Beat her on the ground, kicked her under the teeth, freaking knocked her around.
Every time it's like, oh, good, she's getting away, they came back.
It's like, all right, so it's done now, right? And it never seemed to be done now.
Yeah, it's very, very, very hard to watch. I'm going to pick something different, but I agree with everything he's saying. I'm going to say it's the fact about the poster. The fact that someone watched that movie, knew about that movie, and was like, we need someone more attractive to show her backside and more curves on the poster. That is not the point of this movie.
Yeah, thumbs down to,
That Charles something.
what's his name?
It was-
Charles Band. Thumbs
Like-
down to you, Charles Band.
Like, if you watch this movie and you're like, we need to sex her up a bit, it's like that. It
Gross.
feels gross.
You're gross for saying that.
100%. Like,
And learn to count.
well, that's for all of the posters and commercials and ads and everything. Everything said 5. What was your favorite scene? I'm guessing it's one of the guys passing.
It is.
Me too, but wait, let's see if we have the same
Well,
one.
so,
Here comes the part we can enjoy.
yeah. So, first of all, after I've been very uncomfortable watching the part where it's not up to her that this is happening.
Is it the most uncomfortable one of the 4? Is it the one in the tub?
It is the one in the tub.
We agree on this one. Okay.
So, first of all, she then decides to, like, wine and dine them and,
Well-
like, sex them up.
She pretends to seduce them to get them alone
No,
one at
not
a
the first
time.
guy.
I mean, but
She has sex with the first guy.
listen,
On purpose this time.
sure, but it was to get him in position to where he
Yeah,
needed to
speaking
be.
of in position, she was in the tub with the second guy, and she cut his dick off.
Dude, I know it's TVMA, but like still.
No, that's what he gets.
Oh, he does.
He doesn't get to keep it if he doesn't get to use it correctly.
Oh, that's exactly what I said that was my comment immediately. I said, hey, if he doesn't know how to use it correctly, he doesn't get to fucking have one. See?
Yeah.
I can drop it too, because it's a TVMA episode.
Yeah, no. He lost his dick, and I
And
feel
that goes
good about
for
it.
anyone, if anyone watching ever, committed that crime.
Lose your penis.
Yeah. Good thing I'm not a judge, because you wouldn't have it no more. Like, that's before sentencing. That's just common sense.
So yeah, of course, as it would play out, she's seduced this guy into the tub and sneaks a knife under the water and snip, 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 snip.
Lets him think she's going to give him a handy, and then she goes, hey, check this out. And she starts telling him how she had ended the life of the first
guy.
one that was missing.
And he's like,
yeah,
oh,
very funny.
haha, you're funny. That's a joke. And she's like, I'm going to kill you too.
And
Haha.
she leaves the room
And locks him in.
the door and just listens to him bleeding out and screaming.
And
And you know what?
it makes up for some of the stuff that you had to see.
No.
No.
But yes.
But-
Like, it's as disturbing as that is, being a penis owner myself, I have to say, it couldn't happen to a better guy.
Worse guy. But yes.
No, it could happen to a worse guy. See?
Either way,
A more deserving fellow. I'll put it that way.
that's the one.
Yeah. Yeah. On a scale of 1 to 10, what would you give this?
Probably a 7.
See, I'm going to go 7.5. It would be higher if it wasn't for, there's a 25-minute scene that I had to watch through, like, squinting and turning.
Luckily, as it said earlier, all the stunts were the actors themselves, and you could tell that the stunts that they were doing, they didn't want to be doing, because that's when the acting fell apart.
Yeah, a little bit.
So, it is a poorly acted 25 minutes, which makes it still terrible.
But, yeah, I would give it a higher score if it wasn't for they made me sit through almost a half hour.
Of one.
Of one scene, yeah. All right. Anything else before we...
Well, we're on the other side of this now.
Yeah,
That was extreme. This movie was extreme.
it was. The stuff
So,
on the
yeah.
side so we can change
Get
the
on.
topic soon.
Yes. You can go to Fact TV channel 1082 Thursdays at 8:30 p.m. and Fridays at 7 p.m. to watch this very show.
Probably not 7 p.m. for this episode.
Probably not
Yep, we're getting confirmation of that
episode.
in the other room.
Yeah.
But that's reasonable. You can like us on Facebook, and when I say us, I mean Gory Storytime has a page, which I need to start updating more often, and Fact TV has a page. Like the whole thing for
Yeah.
both.
You can go to fact8.com, watch a bunch of the back episodes of this, as well as a lot of other stuff.
You can follow me on X. I'm at Craig Jakes, all one word, all lowercase.
I'm at Jiggly Fernbrain. I only tweet things that he says that I find funny in or out of context, usually out of context.
But
whatever makes me
if context makes it
laugh
funnier.
the most.
Yeah. And go to YouTube, type in Gory Storytime, and the two pages that'll come up, the two channels are Fact TV and my own page, the Gory Storytime page. Like, subscribe, click the bell, notification, like all the good stuff. Share, tell people about the show. We'd love to have more people watch.
Yeah.
And until next time, when
yeah.
we're going to come back with something a lot easier to deal with.
All this and more. No, not all this and more on Gory Storytime. I've been your host, Jason.
I'm his co-host and father, Craig, and
Sweet dreams.